My name is Sunny, and I'm a representative of FoodCycles, and we're just telling you about this project using this video in order to make things a lot easier for you. So, to tell you a bit more about what FoodCycles is about, there is a 2,880 square foot greenhouse, which is about the size of a small soccer field, and an outdoor field space, roughly 21,000 square feet or half an acre, and that's located at Downsview Park. FoodCycle's main mission, of course, is to grow both good soil and good food, and to turn food waste into that good soil, which is then used to grow good food. So we're kind of creating a closed loop system here, of course. So at the same time, were based off of a highly successful model out in Milwaukee, and that was started by Will Allen, a former basketball star, and his organization is Growing Power Incorporated. And so we're just bringing that model to Toronto as well as trying to improve it and expand upon it and hopefully, teach more people how to build, greenhouses and worm bins and raised beds and gardening tools and teach them the methods to produce their own food and make a living from city urban agriculture, which is probably the best way to really show people what the linkage to food really looks like, to really get people highly involved with with food and making it a more intimate process for them. So at the same time, of course, you already know about cutting down food miles. The average food molecule travels well over 4,000 kilometers based on studies by Waterloo Region here in Ontario, Waterloo Public Health. And at the same time, of course, there's the need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions as well as air pollution from the long distance transport of both food and waste. For example, Toronto transports its waste to Dufferin processing station, as well as transporting that food waste to locations just a bit further north into Ontario, as well as far as Quebec previously, of which they've stopped. And just recently in 2009, or was it 2008, they have been transporting a lot of their waste not only to Michigan, which they're still doing, but also to New York, simply because there's just so much waste. And a lot of that waste stream is organic waste and food waste. At least 33% of all organic waste is food, and organic waste in itself makes up almost half of the waste stream. So the distance is huge. We've done some of the calculations, and it's at least on average 200 kilometers just to one of the sites. Possibly it's the one near Michigan, and we haven't even done the calculation yet for New York. So you have a single truck probably traveling well over 81,000 kilometers a year back and forth from Toronto to all of these sites. And of course, the city has a waste truck fleet of about roughly 2,700, according to some sources. So it's quite a huge amount of waste that's traveling a huge distance, creating air pollution, which also leads to smog and acid rain. So you can see that not only is the work we're doing in terms of localizing food production so important in terms of food miles and energy use, it's also important in terms of just waste miles and energy use, as well as the air pollution involved. So what else is FoodCycles doing? So at some point, FoodCycles will also be adding, to this closed loop system, you know, an aquaponic system, which means growing fish, which is raised on a lot of the plants as they die. Their waste can go to feed the fish, and likewise, the fish, their wastes can also go to feed the plants. So again, we maintain the closed loop system here, and at the same time, for an urban farm like this, there's huge educational opportunities in terms of also having a bee farm or having bees also up there, and so we'll be essentially growing good soil, good vegetables, salad greens, sprouts, herbs, and other, root crops and field crops, as well as at some point within 3 years time, maybe 2 to 3 years, fish and um, fish and bees. And so in the grant proposal, we've asked, for your generous donation, or shall we say generous support, in terms of, funding an educational bicycle compost sifter in partnership with Chakasol, which is a social enterprise based out of 16 Joseph House, and they're also going to work with us to develop more of their products in terms of raw cacao drinks or raw chocolate drinks using local herbs that we grow, for example. And we'll also be working with Food Share and Green Thumbs and Grown Kids on developing that demonstration compost bike sifter or compost bike grinder, essentially. As well as that, we've also included on the request a compost sifter, as well as, of course, covering some of the power tools, which includes power drills and saws and whatnot, which will be used to design a lot of the composting infrastructure as well as the gardening infrastructure. We're talking about raised bed tables, compost bins, and a lot of the shelving for the different sprouts. So that's certainly a possibility. Feel free to check out our website, FoodCycles.org, and you'll see that there's a blog that keeps up with a lot of the things that we're doing at the greenhouse and what's going on in terms of activities, as well as other information on food. So we'll leave it at that, and I hope you have a nice day, Dave. At some point, it'd be great to actually meet with and talk with the MEC staff just to see, how we can work together, because I'm personally a great admirer of MEC equipment. Most of the stuff I wear is pretty much from MEC, just because I just love the quality of the stuff. So, I mean, not only do I do food, I'm also a fan of Mountain Equipment Co-op's merchandise. So, at some point, like I said, it'd be great to get in touch with you, Dave, or anyone else who represents MEC at some point. So, hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.